What is going on, guys? We are talking Mayans Season 3, Episode 4, non-spoiler review. And this episode, we get a lot of reveals, or at least we get somewhat of reveals. I think this was a solid episode. It wasn't overly amazing. Some of the execution in this episode could have been done a little bit better, could have been edited down a little bit more. But overall, it was a good episode. Looking forward to the next episode. Now, there is quite a bit in here that I actually really enjoyed. I like a lot of the interactions that are happening in this episode. At one point, we get a Bishop and Taza interaction, which I really enjoyed. I also really like the setups of a lot of scenes that come in the beginning, but then it pays off towards the end. So the setup in this episode was really good. What I really noticed in this episode, though, that one, the camera work is still really solid, especially the interaction between Angel and Adelita, which I actually was so like I said, there was a lot of interaction in this episode where I was really engaged, and that was one of them. I was really I wanted a little bit more out of those two. And I think there could have been room in this episode to give them more dialogue and more interaction with each other. But what we got was pretty solid. And the camera work and the parallels between them, there's one shot where she's in the bathroom and it glosses over to him outside the door when she's in the shower. So I thought that was a great shot. And the cinematography, there's one shot where Easy is going to Bishop and sitting down with Bishop, and the cinematography, the lighting, the light coming out of a little bit of the supposed windows. So I thought the cinematography was really solid. It's been solid throughout the season, but I really noticed it in this particular episode, and especially when there's flashbacks in this episode. Now, we know that flashbacks are in the Mayans MC series, but I think the past flashbacks, when they were used, especially for Easy, I thought they were a little corny. They were corny, it was goofy looking, but flashbacks in this episode actually really worked. The lighting was better, the atmosphere was better, it just looked overall better. So I did like the flashbacks in this episode. So a lot of the characters like Bishop, we get a little bit more spotlight of Hank, Creeper, Taza. I like what they're still doing with the characters. Gilly at some point, but at some point Gilly has to stop asking Coco if he's okay. I just think there's a little bit of fat that should have been trimmed in this episode, but so far it's still solid. It still moved along pretty well. There was just maybe a couple spots where it kind of like dragged a little bit, and I wished it was a little bit better, but overall it was a good nice paced episode. The Miguel Galindo storyline is still, I think it's not there yet. I think it's going to get a little bit more interesting down the line. It seems like you get a little bit more crumbs to that storyline. A lot of the storylines that have been introduced this season seems like it's starting to come ahead. We're going to get to the crazy parts once we start reaching towards the end of this season. This was just a nice little kind of middle episode to watch and to really set more things up and to reveal some things. So, I mean, overall, I did enjoy the episode. There is particular stuff that happens in here that I'm not shocked about, honestly. It was pretty predictable. I think in our breakdown, me and Taylor said that some of the things were going to possibly happen. So it's not too shocking to me what came to be in this episode. I just think maybe the execution could have been a little bit better. You could have done it a little bit differently, in my opinion, Elgin James. But overall, it was fine. It was definitely fine. Yeah, I mean, the episode was great. The overall just seeing the cinematography and how beautiful it is, seeing the character interaction, Easy and his dad really are alike. I wanted to see the Angel and Adelita interaction. I thought that was great. So I think this episode was all about interaction and all about maybe things to come in the future. The ending of this episode is what going to get everybody talking, but there is a little bit more to dive into there. So I'm going to be talking spoilers next spoiler review of my spoiler review. So check that out. And then of course I'll have a breakdown / prediction video with Taylor this Thursday. So check that out when it comes. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So go ahead and go check that out as well. So I want to thank you guys for listening. So like I said, a non-spoiler, there's a lot of things that are revealed, little things here revealed. But overall, I call it the interaction episode. It was a good interaction episode, but I'm going to dive more into it in spoilers. So thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I not only have Mayans MC, but I have other reviews, Godzilla and King Kong reviews coming on along the way as well. And there's going to be more SOA videos in the future down the line as well. Like the video to support the channel. It really helps, and it really helps for viewership and all that stuff. I'm Dan the Man, and I'm out here. Goodbye, guys.